Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We've got Dr. Paul Ananaba, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Well, you were speaking about the spirit of the law and what the law envisaged. And now you also did highlight the fact that search warrants can be executed anytime as provided for in the Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015. Yeah. But that law, part 2 of that law, also talks about the mode of arrest, how it should be carried out. And when he says, look, the police officer or the person making the arrest or the police officer in charge of a police station shall inform the suspect of his rights to redeem his rights, remain silent, right to an attorney. We don't have all the details as to what may have happened at the point of arrest. If all of this were carried out as stipulated in the ACJ at whatever point the police officer or the person in charge of arrest is making the arrest, doesn't that address the spirit of the law?
Well, it may not, because at this stage, we have not heard from all the judges. And the requirement of the Constitution is fair hearing. One of the judges is in the social media, Justice Lehman, giving his own account. So it begins to show that maybe in future we will take a better course. What do I mean by the spirit of the law? A law cannot take care of all the situations that will come. Now, I doubt whether the spirit of that law will be that the SSS, as they did now, will go at that type of time to arrest or execute a search warrant on a judge. Even though on the plain letters of the... In fact, I believe that the spirit of that law would have envisaged that it may not even be executed against a serving judge.
Why
because in the legal profession and right around the country, I was giving an example. So why would you talk about independence of the judiciary? Why do you say that their salary should be on the first line charge? Are they not civil servants like every other person? So the law envisages some privilege, some respect for judges. Now, we should not, because some judges are corrupt, make blanket statements like all the judges are corrupt, the judiciary is corrupt, and the judiciary will now lose. Both those that are good and bad are thrown away like the baby and the water. It's the same in the National Assembly. Not all our legislators are corrupt. There are upright ones. And then let me take it up to the executive. How many people in the executive have gone through this? Does it also mean, that there are no people in the executive? And you look at governors have immunity. Are you with me? So, some degree of judicial immunity exists. That's the point I'm making.
Is that why some people are of the impression, I think primarily lawyers, that judicial officers as judges have this privilege wherein they can be arrested like this? But the law doesn't suggest
that. They can be arrested. They should be arrested when it becomes necessary. Are you with me? But the point being made is when an old man misbehaves before you, the way you would treat that old man, that misbehavior, may not be the same with a younger, much younger person. Until the old man completely shows he does not realize he's an old man.
Does that also apply with the law? Because
yes, it does.
Everyone is supposed to be equal in the eye of the law.
We are equal before the law, but some people in the country have immunity. So what do you say about that?
But it doesn't mean that they can be prosecuted after their term in office.
Why will it be after when we are equal? I mean, it will be now. You will be after.
But they can be investigated. If there's anything found against them.
That's the point I'm making. I am saying, let's keep within the track. The point I'm making is, like I made earlier, I said, maybe in future, it will be done a bit differently. There are thousands of ways of doing a particular thing. I have seen I heard what has happened, but I also want us, in the course of the anti-corruption crusade, also preserve the sanctity of institutions. It's not about these judges in person. It's about the judiciary. The man in the street may be talking about the judiciary. There's no need for to go to court because the judiciary is corrupt. From the Supreme Court to down, everybody's corrupt. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying we still need that institution, because even these judges you're talking about, where are you going to determine their issues? The same constitution. So we should save the institution, get rid of the bad eggs, and the battle goes on.
Have you also heard the account of the agency that some of these people have been invited before this arrest? So in other words, perhaps there were attempts to go with that kind of respect accorded to them, but until, according to Obla yesterday, said it wasn't necessary to give them that time because there were overwhelming evidence, and they needed to swoop in on them so that such evidence are not destroyed.
Yeah, the point you have not had the account of the judges. I still insist that by the Constitution, fair hearing should be given. We will hear from one of the judges heard from Justice Lehman that's in the social media. You see that his account is different. Now, but assuming Obla's position is correct, that they have been given all that, it means that the agencies also recognize the point I'm making, that you don't just act. I will imagine that going forward, this one is done, but going forward, these judges sit, they move around, they don't have, they are not likely to be violent. So there can be a better way of doing it going forward.
Should they have approached the CJN and maybe convoke perhaps a parley between the...
If there's no point for parley, any judge will be serving in this country, I'll find it difficult to believe that he will refuse to answer to an invitation.
The other aspect of this is, for a while, there's always been that impression that there has to be judicial reforms, that there's corruption in the judiciary. And there are those who believe that the judiciary is not really doing anything to tackle those allegations headlong. That's why some people think, with this arrest, finally, we can address it.
How many judges do we have in the country? Certainly over 1,000. Has this cured all the problems? The Constitution has a way, has provided for ways to deal with judicial misconduct. And that's why I went back to say that the NJC and the bar, the NBA, should now wake up further. Both the NBA should be addressing the discipline issues at the bar with more vigor now. And the NJC should now devote more time and follow through allegations against judges. They shouldn't be taking it as lightly as business as usual as it was. And I'm saying that this operation will not cure everything. It sends a message, I agree. But you also need other stakeholders in the justice sector to sanitize the judiciary.
Well,
now, when you affect the judges, many of the registrars are also issues to be discussed.
You never know. They may eventually get there. It's a process. But about the NJC...
So it has to be, the entire sector should be looked at.
About the NJC, when you said that there are processes to deal with some of these cases, but does the NJC have prosecutory powers to punish
I've had people,
such financial cases?
I've had people make those comments because they don't understand the proper interpretation of the Constitution. The Constitution does not say NJC should prosecute anybody. But the NJC has just a few days ago shown what it is all about. Justice A is corrupt. He has he collected money, or he was bribed, committed a criminal offense, NJC looks at it and says, yes, we have seen prima facie evidence. Suspend this judge. Inspector General of Police, prosecute him. That's how it's done. NJC has never come up to say, we have prosecutorial powers. The reason is that while you are sanitizing the judiciary, you also don't need to pull down the institution. That's the point. You know, the moment the psychological content of the judiciary elopes, it goes out, the average person on the street will say, there is no point going to court. After all, the judges are corrupt.
Isn't that going to also have people who will say, oh, finally, so if we can rid the judiciary of the corrupt elements, we can then go to court or have confidence in the judiciary?
Which one, on which side will people be more? The Constitution has stated what should be done. If the NJC continues effectively, that confidence you're talking about will be there.
What about the other viewpoints wherein some lawyers say that there has to be recourse to the NJC before judges are arrested or prosecuted?
I do not know any law to that effect. I believe that judges, they have the immunity to a reasonable extent. That's what I was saying. So when people just say, are they not human beings? There's judicial immunity. Immunity.
Is it stipulated in our laws?
There is judicial immunity.
How?
You cannot arrest a judge on grounds of what matter is handling or orders he has made.
No, but that's not the premise upon which they were arrested.
The facts are not completely before you now. So we don't want us to go there. What you have heard is that there was a raid, monies were recovered. The mere fact that monies were recovered does not also mean that you recovered money that the person is corrupt.